The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is a blistering Monday in Fall River, but we've got a ton to talk about. We've broken new ground in political idiocy. And so we might as well just get to the right to it, CJ. We got no COVID. The mayor has chosen to make this into a legal battle of does he get to give money to all his friends and take off all the salary caps and screw the taxpayers, or does the city council have the right to be the legislative body of the city? So I've read it, and I know you've read it, CJ, his little blurb, his press release about what they did. And so let's just get down to it. What this is, besides an attack on a taxpayer and an obvious showing of where his loyalties lie to all his political friends that he's given jobs to, and all the rich people that he hangs around with, because this is ridiculous. The mayor cited Chapter 44, Section 32, which. What were we just talking about before on the air? This one of the salient points we'll begin is, what kind of charter do you have to have for this law to apply?
Type E.
Do we have a Type E charter?
No, we do not. We have a special charter.
Well, I guess then, even if this did apply, because we'd still be legal under the law, it doesn't even apply. So
correct.
They're applying a statute. And, of course, I got to get this in because I'm not going to spend too much time on that disaster we call the charter. Did you see the section they referred to in the charter?
6.4.
It's actually unconstitutional. Did you read it? It
yes.
says that the council shall approve. You can't tell the council to approve a budget.
That's right.
They have, by statute, the ability to amend, to reject, or to approve. They are the legislative body. So again, that pathetic, I guess the only person, and there was a lawyer on that charter commission. The only person who could actually read and understand English was Dan Robillard.
That's right.
Because he's the only one that objected to virtually everything. Our charter tells them, and let's think about that just quickly, and then we're going to get off that charter because we got to get rid of it. Why have a city council? The charter says they have to approve the budget. They shall approve. It doesn't say they shall act on the budget. It says they shall approve the budget. So why have a city council? Because if they don't approve it, it goes into effect anyway. If they don't act on it for 45 days, it goes into effect. And the only thing they can do is approve it, which is not true. But that point has to be made. So forget about the reference to the charter. That thing will get blown up in any court, like everything else that's gone to court with the charter. Basically, it'll get blown to smithereens if they go to court. So that's the first one. And so you can because I got the law right here. I got it right here. And I got the sections highlighted. We'll go over it, but go ahead, CJ. Let's you give him a couple of, give the piñata
a couple of good whacks. Well, let's give the first whack. Okay, the first whack is this came out last night. All right, and as soon as it came out last night, it blew up on social media. Okay, I mean literally blew up on social media. Everyone is saying the same thing. This mayor has committed political suicide. And I'll tell you now, I firmly believe he has. He's supposed to be an educator, but he can't freaking count. The budget was presented to the city council on May 11th. It is time-stamped by the city clerk for May 11th. They acted upon it on June 22nd. A rejection is an action. That was 42 or 43 days, depending on how you do your count. In either respect, it was less than 45 days. And that's what he's standing on. So let's give him that. Let's just give him that he's standing on 45 days. Whether it's legal or not, let's give him the 45 days. They acted within the 45 days. So how can you blundering idiot, decide that you're going to pass a budget without the approval of the city council, you dictating bastard?
Woo! Whoa! God, okay, CJ. But, okay, you're right. But, they have a legitimate excuse because they've only got 20 fingers between the two of them, the mayor and the lawyer. And even if they threw in the CFO, they still only got 30 fingers. So there's no way they're getting to 45 because they wouldn't take off their shoes and count their toes. I mean, that's just the way it is. I hate to say it, but that's the way it is. So let's get down to this. Number one, as you said, the law that applies to a Type B charter, which we don't have, a charter that's unconstitutional. Okay, if you look up the law and a synopsis of the law, which I have on my phone, it says that a city council, I'm going to read it verbatim. There's my phone. This is the synopsis of the law. Submission of city budget to city council procedure for approval. Approval, listen to this one now, the big one, drum roll. Approval, rejection, or alteration. The city council may by majority make appropriations for the purposes recommended and may reduce or reject any amount recommended in the annual, but doesn't say about specific each line item because I know that's their con. It says they didn't take it, but that's absolute bullshit. So now this is the law. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it goes into the other references, what applies. But here's the big one. If you go to, let's see, if you go to the second paragraph, because they got the first paragraph broken down into subsections, and at the end of the second paragraph it says, now listen to this because I got to hide. If the council fails to take action with respect to, and not that this even applies, but just even this law, they were within the parameters of the law. If the council fails to take action with respect to any amount recommended in the annual budget, either by approving, reducing, or rejecting the same within 45 days after receipt of the budget, such amount shall, without any action by the city council, become a part of the appropriations for the year and available for the purposes specified. Now, I know what that lame, and we know who's responsible for writing this, and it sure as hell wasn't Coogan. Right. And we know what political tick lawyer wrote this one. We got about a 98% chance of picking him out. I know what they're going to say because I've been in arbitrations and watched them try to manipulate language. It says, it talks about with respect to any amount recommended. So they want it broken down and reject each individual thing. But I hate to tell you this, nitwits, but a rejection of the budget in its totality is a de facto rejection of everything within that budget.
It's an action.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. Okay? And if they really want to apply this law, CJ, he's got a problem anyway. We know how he wants to give everybody pay raises, obliterate everybody's ceiling so he can give all his pals raises and screw the taxpayer. There's another little section in this law that they didn't take the time to get to. You're going to love this one. Neither the annual budget nor appropriation orders based thereon shall be in such detail as to fix specific salaries of employees under the direction of boards elected by the people or the city council. That means that he can't give any raises, and we know that. The city council has to approve them, or the people. And boards, like we said, that should be elected by the people. His crony boards' recommendations, if he wants to use this law, are illegal because those boards are not elected by the people. Read the damn law. Read the damn law. You're obstructing the people's business by making an end around so you can take care of all your friends, screw the taxpayers. And this is what a mayor does. You know, the city council, Sean Kadim and other city councilors were specific about where their problem areas are. And then he said in that lame-ass thing he put out that, oh, you know, I didn't get any suggestions. It's not their job to suggest. You propose, they dispose. The reality is they told you where their problem areas is. It's up to you to take that budget back and rework it and keep reworking it and try to come to some consensus. But no, you knew you knew, and you didn't want to give up your pay raises for your friends and all the other stuff you got buried in there. And screw the taxpayer. So what did you do? You went behind closed doors again with not this time your banker friends, but with your lawyer friends, and came up with this disaster. And that's what it is. It's a disaster. Wow. You don't have a prayer if you litigate this.
Exactly.
Wake up and be a mayor.
Just to give him his defense, because he said he published his defense. He didn't say he says, as July 1st approaches, we must plan to maintain current operations and city services as we begin this new fiscal year. This budget was crafted with the goal of better serving all of our residents. And I would like to thank all those who were a part of the drafting of this year's budget, especially city department heads. You know, number one, give me a break there. But he says also in his letter, and I guess it's paragraph 2, as our legislative branch, it is the responsibility of the city council to understand the timelessness and procedures relevant to the passage of the budget. I expect that the city council president and members may attempt to shift blame to the administration. However, the budget process and its approval and governed by municipal and state law, both of which he failed to recognize.
Yeah,
I hate reading this because, as you can tell, I gag each time because it shows the idiocy of the administration. Remember, at every single budget meeting, when things were brought up, Mary Sahadi said the council only can approve, reject, or reduce. Let me say that again: approve, reject, or reduce. On the 42nd or 43rd day, and thankfully they voted to reject it, because had they not, then the mayor may have had a leg to stand on the 45-day period. But I seriously doubt that they're going to take away the constitutional rights of the city council, any court.
Yeah. Well, he wanted to run this, and he said we have to keep this ball rolling. We've been to 112s before. There always was a mechanism. This is an end run. Let's call it like it is. This is an end run so he can take care of all his friends. There wasn't one attempt to streamline government in this budget. It got bloated and fatter and spent more money. And he wanted to remove all the caps to give everybody he knew a pay raise. This was an attack on a taxpayer and a blatant and obvious attempt to take care of all his political friends. Oh, everybody got their cost of living raised. There was no looking at departments to kind of tighten up their budgets, maybe look at consolidating positions, maybe reducing the cost for things. He's happy. He's happy as a pig, in a trash heap. He's ferreting around for all kinds of money. He's got the COVID money, and he is crowing because we got plenty of money. It's not our money. It's one-time money. And he thinks we're good. We're golden because he's going to be gone when this bites us in the butt. But let me tell him something, just in case he doesn't know. And he doesn't. He's clueless. Hangs around with bankers. He's got a nice salary in addition to his pension. These are you know me. I spent this morning and last night looking up laws and stats. This is the city that you are the mayor in. And let's remember this. Let's remember this. And I'm not making these figures up. You can go look at them. Based on the United States Census Bureau, we have 19.7, so let's say 20% of the people, which is a fifth of the people in the city living below the poverty level. Now, if you go to the Public Policy Center, they have us at 23.2%. Nearly a quarter of this city is living in poverty. So just to maybe slap you upside the head when you want to give all your friends giant raises and the taxpayers the barota, this is the United States government's poverty level. One person, $12,880. So we have either nearly 20 or nearly 25% of the people in this city, if they're one person in a household, is living on less than $12,880. That's about $1,000 a month. What's the average rent in Fall River now? About $800?
No, it's upward of $1,000.
Well, okay, they can't even pay their rent. So how are they going to eat? But you don't give a damn. Family of two, $17,400. That's for two people. So that comes out less than $8,000 per person. Or a little over 16. So, and a family of three, $21,960. Those are the United States government's statistics on the poverty level, and we have either 20 or 25% on the poverty level. So this is our city. This is why we got to deal with the mayor who is totally out of touch, does everything in the back room, and now this was an obvious move to basically give the finger to the council, strip it of its legal authority to reject the budget, and get this on a technicality issue. Let's drag it into court and let's fight in court rather than try to get the people in this city a budget and work together on a budget. You don't have to agree, but you can hammer it out. Go to the table like a man. Go in a room and negotiate. They told you where their problem areas were. Go rework it, call the counselors in individually and work on their areas. But no, you're going to ramrod this budget down the throat of the people of Fall River and the taxpayers, whether we like it or not. Well, guess what? Come September and November, the people of Fall River better tell you what to do with the budget you rammed down or tried to ram down their throat. And hopefully the city council is going to fight this thing tooth and nail because he's saying they don't have the right to reject the budget. It's in the law. Even this one, it doesn't apply. The ability of a legislative body to reject the budget has been done for years. Many years ago, Attleboro rejected a arbitrator's award for a firefighter's contract. And you know what happened to it? It was off the table. They had to go back and renegotiate because it's the city council's job to appropriate. And as CJ just said, if they went over 45 days, they might have had a weak leg to stand on but what is the intent? The intent here is to take care of his friends. and keep this city with an inflated budget and people with all kinds of new jobs, all kinds of pay raises, and screw the taxpayer.
Well, it makes me laugh in a lot of ways because he wants to shove this budget down the city council's throat. Okay, let's say for argument that he can do that. Here's one thing that he hasn't considered. They haven't approved the water rates. So, fine, you've got your budget, but you don't have your water rates. Therefore, balance your budget now. Because they never approved the water rates. How about this one? Every single appointment, every single request, every single of anything that comes down to the city council, they turn around and say, reject, 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 table, 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 table. He'll be a mayor who has no authority, no power. He won't be able to do anything. He doesn't understand what he did. The city council has got more strength and power than he believes. And sometimes I think the city council doesn't realize how much strength and power they have because they control the purse. They control the checkbook.
Yeah, well, guess what, CJ? As you said, they didn't even read the law that really doesn't apply. But even
exactly,
if it prohibits them with that thing I just said. It says that neither the annual budget nor appropriation or shall in such detail as to a fixed specific salary of employees under the directions of boards other than the city council. So there you go. Council, as you said, has the authority to do this stuff. So, I mean, isn't it great when they shoot themselves in the foot with their own defense? They introduced this law which says clearly the city council can reject the budget. And then what did they do? Like the shyster lawyers that try to get somebody off on a technicality. Yeah, it's okay you murdered 28 people in McDonald's. But the cop didn't Mirandize you right. So those 28 people and their families, the hell with them. We got them on a technicality. So now they're going to look for technicalities. They're going to make this into a crap fight rather than trying to work for the people of Fall River. So something, you proved what kind of mayor you are. You don't want to sit down, roll up your sleeves, and go to war with the council and settle it, negotiate it. Get in a room, lock yourself in a room, and say, nobody can go to Florida on vacation, sit by the pool.
Except for Mary Sahadi.
And we're going to hammer a budget out for the best interest of the city of Fall River. No, we're going to run to the back room and with our lawyer friends this time and figure out how we can find the technicality for me to give everybody what I want to give them, all my pals. That's it. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, but here's the interesting thing, in my opinion, and I've called him this before, I call him the crybaby mayor. He's the crybaby mayor. He doesn't get what he wants. He cries and kicks and screams and throws a tantrum, and then he gets somebody to issue some statement for him. And you know what? You don't accomplish anything that way. Okay? He was at a Pride event yesterday, as was City Council President Cliff Ponte, as was City Councilor Michelle Dion, as was City Council Pamela Liberté, I believe. And let me tell you something. People at that event wanted to remind him, but out of respect for the office, not out of respect for the man, out of respect for the office, they didn't say anything. Because when he was a vice principal in the school, he turned around and he told the organizer of this event, he said, stop being gay or get out of this school. That's what he told them. Now, we've also heard from people, you've heard it, I've heard it, from people who said, he told me I'm too stupid and I need to leave this school. People respect the office, not you, Mr. Coogan.
Well, the other thing that disturbs me is that their total lack of understanding. You want to release a paper, a position on a law. He cited the law. Get the law.
Know what you're citing.
Show what you're citing, and don't whine. This is rhetoric that doesn't belong in here. Then what he did was at the end, he was not dealing with the facts of this issue. He started making excuses and pointing political fingers because, as you said, he wanted to be a crybaby. Well, they're going to say this and they're going to say that. You know what would happen to you when you go to court and start talking about the political ramifications? The judge is going to look at you and say, "Shut up and sit down. This has got nothing to do with the case. I don't care about your politics. I'm a judge and I am ruling on the law, the application of the law. Whiny little addendums for your political gain do not belong in these things. It's like I said about the council when they said, I love this mayor, I hate this mayor. That doesn't belong in that debate. When they're in a council, they're there to do business, not to politic. You want to politic before the meeting, during the breaks, and after the meeting. Stick with the subject. Stick with the subject. Stick with the issue. And that goes for everybody, from the mayor through the city council and especially to the school committee.
No question about it.
And where did he come from?
The school committee. Where they do everything in the back behind closed doors. Everything's in executive session. The public can't know anything about what's going on, just like they just did recently with Matt Malone. Okay? And this man has no backbone, so much so that he recused himself from a dealing with a sexual predator. An alleged sexual predator. Let me correct that. An alleged sexual predator. And he refused to act on it. So much so that in his administration, he had a child molester working for him, an alleged child molester, who quit. This is what this administration is. It's the sexual predator zone. I can't believe it. Well, seems like every time you turn around, somebody else has got a sexual predator complaint against them.
Well, it's disturbing that he didn't do anything, because he can say recused because of his brother, but that's BS, because they got a report that his brother had nothing to do with.
Exactly.
He could have said, based on that finding, and my brother works for him. So what? So what? If that's the case, he can't rule on anything. But how about him on the other side? Take off your ex officio chairman of the school board hat and put on your big boy pants, your big boy mayor pants, and say, Matt Malone violated the sexual harassment policy, and he had documentation.
Hell, we've got documentation
based on that. And by the way, you're saying alleged. As far as I'm concerned, it's not alleged, because Matt Malone apologized for what he did, and he took some weak punishment. So as far as I'm concerned, he's confessed and his guilt. But this is absurd. The people of Fall River should be outraged by this maneuver. It is nothing more than pure politics.
And this is what makes Fall River so great. You know what I mean? Be proud of your city. You've got a mayor who's a dictator or thinks he's a dictator. Okay? You've got a city council which does their job and they get reprimanded for it. You got a school committee that doesn't do their job and they get applauded for it. I mean, what's wrong with this picture? What is wrong with this picture? I need a Valium just to deal with this, okay? And then we got a city council meeting coming up, I believe on Tuesday. I'm going to be banging my head, with a hammer. It's going to be ridiculous. So there's just so much going on. I want to let our viewers know that tomorrow we will be on the bottom line. And from what I understand, we will have a guest, City Council President Cliff Ponte. Maybe we can get some answers from City Council President Ponte on what his belief is on this and where it's going to go. Remember, that's the bottom line. It's at 11 and it's on Facebook. It's also going to be showed elsewhere, I guess. Please be sure you watch it. And remember, this is your government. Make sure you take it back. Be safe. Be angry. Hold your politicians accountable. Kick your mayor out. And remember, power to the people.
Power to the people.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day.